Are you feeling ready for the way search is changing? If you've caught the first 4 episodes in our AI search series, then you're ready to hear Josh Lohr's crystal ball of predictions for the future of SEO and GEO. We'll start with some welcome news. If you're already following Google's EEAT guidelines, then you're already on the right path. We'll talk about the tension between privacy and retrievability, and how locking things down too much can keep your brand out of the conversation. You'll hear why it's a good idea to ask AI tools where they got their answers from, so that you can tighten your brand messaging across your different channels. And we'll close with a fresh look at metrics. Clicks may drop, but demand hasn't, so it's time to track deeper engagement and your brand's share of voice. Stick around as Josh breaks down each trend and shows you how to weave it into your 2025 marketing strategy.
Let's talk about what to expect in 2025. There's a lot of speculation and a lot of contradictions and misguidance. So, there's thoughts that search engine volume will drop and Google is losing ground. These two headlines that you see here. But, as we see in the next slide here, Google's searches have actually grown by 22% year over year. And so what this tells us is actually traffic is dropping, but demand isn't. With the introduction of Gen AI and zero-click searches, yes, it is likely lowering organic traffic, but branded searches are on the rise. So we essentially just need to change our measurement there. We do have some additional new functionality that is being introduced all the time, but I think this one is significant enough to highlight here in today's call. So Google's AI mode, which is building off of their AI overviews. And then they also introduced this new what people suggest, which organizes different perspectives from online discussion forums like Reddit and Quora and others into this kind of easy to consume accordion summary module in the search results. So, but what's important here is that these new functionality are likely to transform user behavior and thus the performance of Google, but also as a channel as well. So we need to be vigilant here, and tracking all of these constant updates to to these spaces.
And is it fair to say that these outcomes that Google here is synthesizing, right? They're compiling and synthesizing. Customers can lean into those entities that you talked about, right? People, places, things, concepts, right? And sort of doing a good job of structuring that and tagging those things. Contentful's got a new taxonomy tool to kind of help classify that content. And I think customers are just now starting to get their hands on that, right? And make use of that so that these kinds of things will be accurate and useful. And this will actually help people's customers where they're at by giving Google good information to build these synthesized summaries. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these things lend themselves extremely well to all these new developments in the space. So yeah, it's just and again, that's why we need to be vigilant, but exercising the playbook, focusing on the things that you're already doing, and then exercising the new spaces. But I will say with a caveat, before we get to the 5 key takeaways, I want to warn us to be wary, young Padawan. The Columbia study just came out and highlighted that generative AI isn't doing very well in many ways in terms of providing accuracy and value to its end users. And a lot of people are noticing this. So adoption is going to be heavily impacted by the quality of the output of generative AI. So this study highlighted a real problem that they're facing right now, and it was frankly quite embarrassing for the industry. Collectively, they were incorrect 60% of the time. Perplexity was the best, only being incorrect 37% of the time. Grok 3, Elon, was the worst, being incorrect 94% of the time. But that's not it. They fabricated links, cited syndicated and copied versions of articles. They were bad at declining to answer questions that they couldn't answer accurately. Instead, they offered incorrect or speculative answers.
This is so fascinating, and like like you, I think is can be inferred here. Software is a reflection of the values of its creators, right? And that's
Hmm.
kind of a fundamental problem that humanity is grappling with right now. But
Yeah.
it's interesting though how some of the nature of LLMs is just by the design of what it is and does. They 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 want to come across as being authoritative, right? They don't even know, right? They're just sort of doing it because that's their nature. It's the output of these. So all these companies are trying to work on ways to be more truthful and accurate, and then more honest, basically. Like, hey, to say I don't know, right? But that is the state of LLMs is not really reached that yet. Some are doing better than others. It's really interesting to see Perplexity doing so well here, maybe because of their design of referencing through actual sources and again, those sources, who knows if they're actually accurate or not, right? It's not
Hmm.
like they're all being peer reviewed.
Yep.
Different fields, let's say medical fields, the standards for that are going to be entirely different, right? And we also have this larger problem of disinformation, misinformation, propaganda, all these other things that are influencing this ecosystem, this entire problem set. But
Hmm.
brands, at least, a lot of our customers come to us and they're managing their content. They get to say their
Hmm.
voice. Hey, our product does this and it doesn't do these things, or whatever. We kind of help our customers with that. At least the
Hmm.
idea is they can inject more of their truth, out into the world here. But this is a fascinating glimpse of things. It goes to like, hey, these AI tools are really helpful, but we're not sure we trust them yet. And I think
Yeah.
people are also there as well.
Yeah, certainly are. Well, that brings us to our 5 key takeaways. There's good news. If you're practicing good SEO by demonstrating EAT in your content, keep doing what you're doing. Your best practice and compliant SEO activities will apply directly to GEO. So, just if you're not demonstrating EAT, remember to go back to step one and revisit your SEO basics. But otherwise, yeah, if you're doing them already, good job, keep doing it, and it will lend itself directly to GEO. Retrievability is another key takeaway. Googlebot is smart, and AI bots are frankly they're dumb right now. So don't block them because they'll just go away. You need to reduce JavaScript dependence because that will hinder them. Ensure your site is very performant and accessible. Don't have broken links and a slow website that will hinder your performance there as well. Data is king. So make it easy for the AI bots. Double check that you're using structured data everywhere possible, very liberally. Parse your XML sitemaps to mimic your site structure. Make it really simple for them, and use descriptive metadata and media attributes. SEO 101. We need to revisit these things and make sure that they're all well buttoned up for generative engine optimization, because these AI bots need a little bit of a helping hand. We've had it very easy with Googlebot, who has been continually getting smarter over the years. But yeah, also when in doubt, you just ask AI. Don't be afraid to ask them for their sources because they'll tell you, quite frankly. But once you find out where they're getting their information from for your key questions, key conversations that people were having, work cross-functionally get the mentions there. All while ensuring that you have consistency in your brand messaging across all your channels, both on the site and off. This is critical to make sure that when you show up as a brand, you are showing up the way that you intended, and that is on message, on brand. And then finally, evolve how you measure. Traffic is dropping, but search demand isn't. So we need to shift our KPIs to deeper pipeline metrics, brand visibility, and share voice metrics. And we also need to monitor brand search volume, direct traffic, and returning visitors. These can help act as discovery indicators within AI to show that our efforts are successful and that they're leading to users finding our brand and our content through generative AI.
Thanks for breaking all this down, Josh. There's so much good content. I've already rewatched some of your earlier presentations a couple times, just to absorb it, so that I can help customers with where they're at, so that we know what their lived reality is when it comes to these new things. So I love these 5 takeaways that you've given us. These are definitely ones that I think everyone is going to want to hear about. The basics of SEO, we've got those collected in a guide that you helped write. I think you were really the main driver for this project. You know, I contributed to one little bit,
You did.
but we've got some other folks from Contentful who have also worked in SEO, who also have expertise there. I felt like this was a really good guide for those who are using this architecture in their business. We're hoping to update this guide a little further for the geo age that we're in. Thank you so much for walking us through what those 5 takeaways were. There's a lot to do. Is there anything else you'd want to leave us with here?
Yeah, just keep on keeping on with your SEO best practice and adopt a few of these new activities, and you will be, on your way for generative engine optimization.
Thanks for walking with Josh and I as we've navigated the history of SEO and GEO. We looked at all the LLM players and how they differ, and we got Josh's 3 playbooks for GEO success. We shared how Contentful helps businesses all over the world navigate the challenges of GEO, and we wrapped it up with some predictions and takeaways for the months ahead. Did you know that your team can try out all Contentful's enterprise features for free? If you're ready to make your business future-proof and AI ready, come talk to us at contentful.com. Thanks for watching. See you next time.